Okay, so I-Spec II. Basically, this is going to be specific for Shimano, and the I-Spec II clamp. First step that you want to do, we can set the remote aside, and we're going to go ahead and unscrew the clamp. We'll take the bolt all the way out and set it aside, because otherwise it gets a little difficult to hold onto all the parts. Now, you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing from this side, but when I get it unlocked, I'll bring it around and show you. Okay, so what I just did on the Shimano, they have a lock so that this doesn't come open. And what you want to do is push in with a small Allen right here, and that will allow it to unhinge completely. Okay, so the next thing you want to do, because we're going to run this piece inside, you want to take out this insert here. So we'll pull that piece of plastic out, and this is the way with any of the I-Spec II accessories or peripherals, they all profile or fit in the same way. So by taking that plastic piece out, you've now made room for this part. So now we're going to go ahead and rotate this into its final position, and you can see here this locks in. There's a ridge on the inside of here, and that locks in, and that'll prevent that thing from slipping out on you. Now I just dropped the clamp closed by mistake, and it latched closed. So when you're doing this, the easiest way is to hold your fingers on the top clamp, set this in about where you want it, and now once it closes like that, it'll kind of hold itself in place. So I think that's what Shimano's engineers were thinking when they designed this. It's a little bit fiddly until you get to that point, but once you get it in there, that makes it real easy. Now you want to go ahead and thread your brake clamp down to just where it will hold, and really you don't want this very tight at all, because if you go rotating this, you can scratch your finish on your carbon bar. So you want to get this in to where it's comfortable, so and the same as the other side. And then you're going to need to hold this in position if you want to rotate this clamp. And so there's two ways to adjust the remote. The first is the reach, kind of the fore and aft, and that's accomplished by rotating here. So we'll get that about where we want it, and what I look for on these is to try to get them close to the same plane as your shifter, and that way both sides feel the same and symmetrical. Okay, and then you tighten this down. I believe Shimano's spec on this is 5 Newton meters, so double check that on your clamp and make sure that it is. They may be a little different from model to model. So the next adjustment that we can make is the reach adjustment, and that's done by sliding here. So you loosen that screw up, and basically you can slide it anywhere in the range, and you just want it to be comfortable. So if I'm reaching for my brake here and I put my thumb out, that's a pretty comfortable reach for me. But see, if I don't have my thumb on the remote, it's far enough away, I'm not jamming my thumb up on the end of it. So that would be a comfortable position for me to set it in. And you want to go ahead and, again, use your torque wrench. These are fairly small fasteners, and you don't want to over torque them. So these are also going to be 4 Newton meter. As far as routing your cable goes, you do have 2 routing options. The first routing option is the traditional routing, which the fixed end stays on and routes that way. For the sake of being able to see the other routing without pulling this all back off, you can see there's a counter bore where that goes in and attaches. If you want to route it the other way, what you would do is you hook everything up to the seat post, and then as this end comes in, you can route it this way. I generally like to route it through the first part of the clamp and then fish it through the second part of the clamp. You need to loosen the set screw a little bit on that to allow the cable to slide through. Okay. So again, we're flipping this around to make it easier for you to see, but the cable comes out the back, and then you would tighten the set screw down, and then you'd be able to cut off the tail and put on a cable end on the end there. And so when that's all done, it's going to look just like the one here in that routing. So now you've got your cable routed and you can move forward with it.